Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing reasonably well. And I have a few questions. Getting a little short again, but thanks for anybody and everybody who sends them in. This one is from Donna McIntosh in Vancouver. It says, I've read that there are 114 chakras. They're different numbers based on whatever you read. We mainly talk about the 7 main ones because they basically affect all the rest of them. And if you remember one thing, let me read the question out. But you have also talked about 3 above the head and some off the sides. Can you talk a bit more about their importance in our growth? It's a dilemma. To be honest, there is very little known about the 10 or 7 chakras that are really normally talked about, depending on what you're reading. Some talk about them on the sides, and some talk about them front and back. Some only talk about them in the front, some only talk about them in the back. But if you can remember that whatever happens in one of the chakras or centers or Zephyroth that you're involved with, root, gonad, solar plexus, little bit of stuff moving up to the head centers through the chest. No matter what you're involved with, anything that happens to any one of those centers affects every single other center. This is not, people don't like talking about it like that because it's, the experience of this shows up in your personality. And that's how it tends to work. Your personality focus is the key thing in your particular development, whoever you are. And I'm not only talking to Donna here. Let me just see, there's another one here that kind of engages a little bit, and I'll do that one first after I do this one. So the nitty-gritty is that there is a lot of activity in the solar plexus. There's a lot of activity in the gonad center, a lot of activity in the will center, and a lot of activity in the root center. And these 3 centers engage with other centers to some degree, which stimulates activity in the brain. In the throat center, relating to verbalization, relating to very basic will stuff. But there's a blending of these centers. So if there is an emotional intensity about this or that, an idea even, that aligns with anything in our world, then our focus will be on the alignment of anything, and we use the emotional center, the root center, solar plexus, that engages, as I am right now, through the talking or expression that we are familiar with. If you have a strong experiential bias, then you will be talking related to your experience. If you have a strong bias that relates to what you've read and what you kind of lean towards, then that you'll talk about that material. The whole orientation of this is related to shift and movement and change within the construct that we call personality. All of those centers can be stimulated by an act of or shift of energy coming into, for example, the emotional center. And they're all emotional centers. The physical centers, and they're all physical centers. The willful centers, one could say, and they all have aspects of the will related to the centers that are dominant within you. So that's one way to speak about it. Often I talk about it in terms of if a center opens up, that orientation within the personality system that relates to you having a will, or you having a defensive system, or you having an opinion, an attitude, or whatever, any of us, then the focus is on that. To get to a process of so-called spiritual growth, this is very different. Because within those same centers are potentials that relate to shifting into another state that we often call spiritual. Well, we also call spiritual an accumulation of material within the personality's system that relates to a belief that you have acquired spirituality if you know something. This is related still to the dominance that a personality has within itself about itself. So anyone in fact engages with life relative to how they are engaging as a growing being. There is no negativity in that place, but you can use that in any engagement with life. Now I'm just waiting here. Our phone is ringing. I'm hopeful that people are able to hear what I'm talking about. Is that okay, Marilyn? Okay, so it's okay. So when you have these orientations, we call belief, or self-validations that we believe are really real, they're often opinions. So we utilize material. So we read all kinds of material, we engage with that material, our personality construct forms around that, like a formation of stimulation related to how this world sees spiritual growth. So, but all of those centers, all of those chakras, or Sephiroth, whatever you want to call them, they are giving juice to what the personality comes up with and focuses on to validate the individual. That I often call self-love. Well, this is a hard sell. You think about it. Honestly, if you have an experience of something, you will interpret that experience as this or that. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's okay. That interpretation is related to the personality's willingness to engage with an idea that supports its own belief about something or helps it to be valued. Yes, I'm talking about the personality being valued by itself. So, in that, energy is pulled into the personality, energy, because it's only energy, to support the image of the structure that is being approved of by itself. That's how we function. It is really not a very comfortable way to see the personality, and that includes every single center. Why? Because there is a physical component, an emotional component, a mental component, and a bringing it all together focal component where you weave in life how you wish others to perceive you. That's a component relationship. And in fact, at times, you have 60 or 70% emotional, or 90% or 100% emotional component. Sometimes you're in reflection, you might have, it feels like 100% component, but you're focusing in an emotional, mental way, which gives you roughly maybe 51% of your focus, because within a second, you can be focused on something else. This is not negative. This is just how we function. Physically, we engage with this form that we have, and each of us applies whatever we think we need to apply to it to maintain it in a way that is a version of being happy with it. Whatever it looks like doesn't matter, but it does matter to an image that may be emotional, that may be partly physically focused, or definitely physically focused, another 51%. And within a second, your focus can be on something else, unless there is a reason for focusing on the body. Then everything comes together to focus on the body. That's our personality I'm talking about. The issue here is not an engagement with the numbering of the chakras. However, it is information, and therefore information tallies our relationship with the form that we call personality and the images that are portrayed to engage with knowledge that helps you to engage and with effort put forward that thing we call the personality as an energy form, but we see it physically, we hear it physically, we see, hopefully not that, but all our sensing mechanisms are activated. The only ones we can perceive are the ones that we are interested in perceiving that supports the line of expression that we are engaging with and putting forward. In our world, we're not overly interested in perceiving the range of energies that are beyond what everyone else is engaging with. Hang on. Except when you're engaged in a group like ours, for example, where if you say you perceive all the centers and they're all this way and all that way, that's where your focal point is engaged with to put forward your personality focus. No negation is involved with this again, except the personality is unbelievably capable of putting forward itself in manners that promote the self. There is a tricky thing with chakras. If you really can quiet your personality down and let go of it, not caring what it promotes within itself, you will begin to perceive beyond what it believes is true into what is there. And that's what we're trying to do. Every single center then is affected. It's not affected for self-promotion. It's affected by another state. Initially, it's affected by the personality engagement that wants to be in a place that validates itself. I'm sorry, but that's how it tends to work. This is a dilemma, honest dilemma. And it's difficult to overcome in all of us, primarily because if we do overcome this, we in fact start not to care what other people think of us for a few seconds, for a few minutes. But then, and it's not because we're frustrated with what they think of us, it's because we're not focused on our personality. We're focused on a sense of emptiness almost. But it's not empty, because within 1 second, you can have a reflex reaction about someone who says something, because you're not letting go of anything. You're perceiving the difference between one state and another. The state of needing to be very continually focused on the need to shine up the system you believe you need to have to be engaged in a manner that promotes the system that you already have constructed. Now that promotion is by the personality, but you are deeper. You are beyond the detail of what is out there already. And what is in there, if you let go, if you can let go, and this is rare in our world. I mean, no matter what anybody says, it's totally rare. If you let go and perceive that, you are held to not speak much about it. Why? Because one single sentence, and everybody that hears it will start thinking that is the thing they need to be, and they, unknown to them, begin to become it. And it is not the it that they're becoming. It is stimulation of the personality that is glowing into a self-perceived image of the structure that should be there if you are spiritual. Then you get into another hassle. You start to think about what spiritual is. And man alive, that's a toughie. Because all around you, in every podcast, including this one, some books, will try to define it, but it's difficult to define because the experience, not of a kind of physical engagement, but with a different state, is totally different than how we see things from this plane upward. I have a few friends that can leave their body at will with no problem. That does not make them spiritual. Their wishes are to be spiritual. And they will be as spiritual as they can be relative to here. And they will do the best they can, without any doubt whatsoever, to do what they can according to the physical personality's versioning to be as spiritual as they can. That is what we do here, usually. And that's being honest. It doesn't sound very friendly, but oh boy, it truly is. And here's the reason why. There is a pull towards honesty, sincerity, quiet about the importance of ourselves. There is a pull from one state to another, in spite of how the physical personality engages with life. I'm going to stop for a second. Just let you try and make sense of that. You don't have to believe it. You'll make sense of it how you think you need to make sense of it to fulfill the relationship that you have with your personality already. It is the nature of everyone and what we do. There's no negation in it. This is just what we do. So as we are engaging, we are drawing new images to help us to understand that meaning. We're slippery. So what happens is we ache to have more information. So we'll look anywhere, everywhere, and we'll look in every level of understanding that's available to us. I remember an old friend, a person who, very interesting person, and he gave me a book to read. He was on all kinds of things relative to these relative planes, slowly, gently in the astral or mental levels of fairies and what have you. And I said, "Are you really interested in this area?" He said, "Oh yeah, they exist." I said, "I have no doubt that they exist. But are you also interested in engaging with higher states?" And he said an interesting thing to me, and I remember it always. He said, all states have to move towards higher states, even this state that appears to be higher state to many. And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. But the angle of seeing things was important to him because he could perceive these things, not because he engaged with the ideas of those things. He was honest in his seeing. He could perceive it. The personality can cultivate a seeing of a kind because it's an aspect of growth. It's not a negative thing. It's an aspect of growth. So as he thought, he said, as I'm able, he said, to engage with higher state beings, that will affect how I allow my belief system to nurture a validation of me. And I said, you're absolutely right. It is the same for all of us. knowing that is different than not knowing it. His sincerity was strong. His honesty was strong. And his hope to move into a different state was strong. But as he said, if that state is not as perceptive in these lower but different states than how we normally see, then I will probably wish to remain in that state, because at least I know there's some reality in it. I said, boy, is that ever true of every one of us. And if you can make sense of what I just said, then even people who say they see things and they don't, they're in a movement towards a receptivity to growing in some way that may or may not be exactly how they are saying they are growing. I hope that can be understood. So there's no negation in the not perceiving, even if you believe you are or think you might be. Because the sensing mechanism is very complicated. There's a sensing mechanism that relates directly to the approval of the personality's need and image making to confirm the need and to validate the need. And there is a perception level where you perceive and you look around and know that understanding of this will be difficult for anybody. Now, if you get right into the right crowd, then it's not difficult. But if you don't have that right crowd to talk about those things that you think you perceive, you may pull back. And in that pulling back, you have just grown. This is a weird thing, because the difference between growing as seen by the outside, or our external world, is different than growing as perceived from the internal engagement that exists within those who have already grown. Because they perceive where you are, and they don't judge it, but they know. There's a lot of pressure on people who are attempting to engage with other states, or as if it is other states. Because the pressure is, you don't want to lead anybody astray. You don't want to hold them from growing in a manner that would be more helpful, because they do not know what manner would be helpful or not. And they can't, because their perception level is still based on the personality orientation. And these chakras are interesting, because if you put your full focus on something, more energy will come in to help you focus on that thing that you want to focus on, because it elevates you. The elevation is there so that you can learn how to see what's going on. But often it comes in and the personality is validated by the elevation. And that is a big difference between the two. That's why growing, honestly, is complicated. So that in no way says a person should not do what they're doing, because they are doing the thing that they believe they need to do to be validated. By the external world. That may be the only thing they can do at this point. They haven't seen through it yet. So there's nothing negative about that. As they go on, they will begin to see through it. Then they will do something perhaps slightly different. And if they do, they have every right to do that. They have every right to grow. Because that is a very loving thing to do. Because loving then begins to come in differently than it could before. And in our world, our focus is on gaining access to accumulation of knowledge. This was always the dilemma that sages had all over the world. Gaining access to information is not growth. It's access to information that would validate the personality's focus on accumulation of information to validate itself. That is the nature of what we do here. It's fundamental. And it's early going. Not negative. Early going. We all have a piece and part in that. Because it is the nature of the species here. And it continues to be so. Because the nature of each individual is in alignment with it, without seeing it. And even if the seeing is there, the model is a species model. And you can, with a little research, honest research, you can take a peek at the people that we really like and have historically elevated. And that many of them have been warriors. And the warrior base is still there. So if you don't use it in war, you use it with agility and mental function that is emotional at its base. And that is honest. If you can see it, then it's not bad. It's aligning with the species. And that is how people function. Often, I forget who was talking about one of Rumi's quotes about meeting. It wasn't only Rumi's quotes, by the way. It was an ancient quote, one of which Rumi expressed in his poetry about a meeting place where there is no right and wrong, no better and worse, no more important than another. And in that meeting place, you come face to face with a different state, and it lies within this categorical system, related directly to the focus and engagement with personalization being the key. Just a stage of growth, not an end point. So, elongations of stages of growth can occur in all of us. And just to see it and know it's there may be helpful. So that's all I can do in this one, unless I messed up and missed another part. Yeah, I did talk. Okay. So, in fact, all these chakras are important because they shift inside themselves to and they are compartmentalizations of the personality structure. In other words, if you had a hose and water was going through it, you might have an adjustment at the other end, but the water still comes out unless you turn the hose off. Well, you're not going to turn your hose off because the hose is always going to be there. So as you engage, and there is a belief, by the way, you can annihilate the hose and still be a perfect person. And that may be true, but you don't want that situation. You want to be in charge and control of whatever comes out of you, so you can get the accolades for having it happen that way. It's just the way it works. So, but the energy to do that is related to the valves or chakras that energy comes into and tries to help you to see how you're functioning by expressing the thing that you believe you need to be like, so that you can see how able you are. And we see it as how able we are instead of, oh my goodness, I'm doing it this way. Ultimately, there is a place within us that allows us to see better, not perfect yet, and won't be for a long time. No offense to anybody who believes already they're perfect. But their relationship will be seeing like a watcher of that which is there, as opposed to a judger of how things should be, to not be noticed in relationship to how you are, without even knowing how you are. So, a little confusing there. But interesting, fascinating. These centers, by the way, every place you have a knuckle, there's a small little vortex. Okay? Toes, hands, knees, hips, armpits, shoulders, oh God, so many. And the major ones are all linked to these. It's like, if you ever look at a drawing of the nervous system, for example, which everybody can look up on there online, and you'll see all the little small nerves going through all over the body, because you have to know, if you touch your hand, their arm, you know that something has touched it, or you touched it, whatever. Information right to the brain comes down, and you make sense of it. Oh, somebody touched me. Really simple thing, but very interesting, because all of these, little chakras, front and back, add up. So what's the importance of knowing that? Well, they're all attached to each other. They all engage with each other. So I'll give you an example. If your root center is really strong, and it brings energy all the way through, every one of those chakras can engage relative to your personalized root center. No negation in this. Matter of fact, thought that's really great stuff. Gonad center, same idea. Tantric yoga has always been kicking around for years and years. Used to be a lot different. Stimulation by either males and females in the gonad center, they would rush quickly to the temple and pray so that it could come up, as opposed to staying down there and being operating towards sexuality. It's just the way it tends to work. Emotional center can be huge, infinite, same as all the others, but flow in other centers are relative then to the solar plexus, root, and gonad center. They combine, they work together. They're affected by each other. I'm sorry, but for those of you who think that only if you have this center on or that center on, you're more superior to another. Yeah, you might be. But what's your point? Oh, I forgot. Because you're superior. Still personality oriented. Valued on these levels sometimes not. Depends how it functions in you and the purpose that you internally have in relationship to life. If you're tremendously insecure, you will want to be the only person in life that is superior. You'll set up a system in your personality to do so. And you'll flood it with information related to it, or you won't. You'll just be. It's how it works in all of us. Understanding this doesn't put pressure on you to be better or worse than so-and-so or all others. It engages with you to try and help you, to allow you to perceive, understand, be compassionate, not only about you, but others who are doing the same thing as you are. And you know how difficult that is, and how loving it can be. You can say, oh, I'm doing the best I can. And there will be a help that comes in to show you a sense of loving. You'll feel it. Root center, you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel it emotionally. You'll feel it in terms of your engagement with your head. You'll change the personality for a moment or two. We'll be focused on how to help somebody. You'll ask the question, how can I help? If I back away, nobody will know I'm helping. In the backing away, more help can come in because you will not be focused on your personalization. I had an interesting question at one point from, I think it was Catherine, that talked about the veil that holds us from perceiving beyond what might be there. The veil is our personality construct, but not negative. It's the construct that holds us in relationship to how we've been constructed and supports and maintains that particular formula so that you can gain access to a higher value of self. That's the veil. And that veil is supported by that flow that operates in, because you can't fool that support. Doesn't mean you're bad. It means too much will expose you to you too fast, and it will send up all kinds of defensive systems that they will be hurtful to you. It doesn't want it. It's loving. It doesn't want to do that. So it will help you by giving you a sense of loving from time to time, so you can know that there is something beyond that you that holds again, and even sometimes thinks you're not worthy of that love coming into you. And that love has to be a certain way, of which most people don't remember what that is, because the loving system is related to how you were trained to engage with the world, and legitimately a method of engagement. Not perfect, just a method. So being kind to yourself in it is an extremely important thing. Respectful of the form you have. But knowing it's in a process of development. And being okay with growing because you deserve it. No matter what you think. It's about 7:45. I think the next question is a little bit longer, so I think what we'll do is we'll meditate. Thank you very much, Donna, for the question. And thanks. I have a few more questions. Always good to have a few in abeyance because it's extremely easy to go through a question fairly quickly, and a number of questions. Thank you, and remember, this is food for thought. Your reactions, your belief systems, whatever they are normal, and they're truly engaged with the defense of what you already believe or want to believe to be true. That is the nature of everything and any of us. So, in our world, we are all growing, no matter what that means. And hopefully, that can be understood in a good way. And I wish you all very much well. Good growth. The same as I would wish myself. Take care. I'll bring you out at the end.
गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपितजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम् मूषिकवाहनमोदकहस्ता चामरकर्णविलम्बितसूत्रा महेश्वरपुत्रा विघ्नविनायकपद नमस्ते namo namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi, Mahalakshmi Vaishnavi, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi, Ma Saraswati Brahmi, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi, Durga Devi Shankari, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi, Uma Parvati Shive, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mamba Lalita Devi, Maya Vishwamohini Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Ishwari Narayani Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Nitya Parameshwari Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Jagadambe Janani Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Tvam Ananda Sagari Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Triambake Devi Narayani Namostute
Now we'll just do the bouncing and the grounding. And have a good evening, everybody.